Welcome back to the deep dive. Usually when we sit down here, we are looking at the macro level. We are talking about the future of artificial intelligence or shifting geopolitical plates.
Right, the big stuff, the 30,000-foot view.
Exactly. The heavy, abstract topics that make the global headlines. But today we are doing something completely different. We are plummeting from 30,000 feet right down to ground zero. We are going into your bedroom, your bathroom, your kitchen, and your daily commute.
It is a bit of a shock to the system, isn't it, to go from global economics to, well, brushing your teeth.
It really is. But here is the thing, and this is why I'm so excited about the source material we are covering today. We are looking at a fantastic 3-part series from the DFY Channel. It is hosted by Jack and Angela, and it is called Master Your Day. And the core premise is that the hardest part of learning a language is not the complex stuff, it is actually the simple stuff.
I mean, that sounds counterintuitive at first.
Yeah.
Usually we think quantum physics is harder than making toast.
You would think so. But if you think about our listeners, we have listeners who can walk into a boardroom and present a quarterly financial report in perfect English.
Oh, absolutely.
They can debate the ethics of cloning, they can talk about inflation rates, but if you ask them, hey, tell me exactly what you did between 7 o'clock and 7:15 this morning, they completely freeze.
Ah, I see what you mean. It is what Jack and Angela call the autopilot paradox.
The autopilot paradox. Let's break that down for the listener. What exactly is that?
Well, it is fascinating. The things we do on autopilot, waking up, showering, making coffee, putting on socks, these are things we do not actively think about in our native language. We just do them.
Right, because it is muscle memory.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And because we do not think about them, we never internally narrate them. So when we try to translate that daily routine into a new language like English, the vocabulary just is not there. It is a blank spot on the map.
And that leads to what the source material calls the robot effect.
The robot effect. I love this concept. It made me laugh out loud when I was reviewing the sources, but it is also, it is painfully accurate.
It really is. It is when a learner tries to describe a very normal daily routine using literal mechanical translations. Jack gave this hilarious example. He said, imagine someone asking you what you were doing in the bathroom, and you reply, I am currently hydrating my face with liquid water.
Or, I'm applying cleaning paste to my dental tool.
Yes. I mean, technically, grammatically, it is correct. You're applying paste to a tool. But if you say that to a native speaker, they are going to look for your off switch.
Right. They're going to wonder if you're an alien disguised as a human.
Exactly. It creates this strange distance. And that is the real tragedy of it. You might have a wonderful personality, you might be hilarious and warm in your native language, but if your vocabulary for daily life sounds robotic, you put up a wall between you and the person you are talking to.
And the goal of this deep dive today is to break down that wall completely. We want to help you sound human. We want you to sound natural and fluid.
We want you to sound like you, just in English. So here is the roadmap for today. We are going to track a human life through a single day. We are following the exact structure that Jack and Angela laid out. We will go from that first painful moment, the alarm rings, through the chaos of the morning, the grind of the commute, the office culture, all the way to falling asleep at night.
And we're not just going to give you a boring list of words. We're going to look under the hood. We're going to find what they call the engines of English verbs. These are the specific words that do 90% of the heavy lifting in daily conversation.
So settle in. Or I guess I should say tuck yourself in, because we are starting in bed. Let's jump right into part 1, the morning victory.
The alarm goes off. Beep, beep.
The absolute worst sound in the world. Now, right here, before we even open our eyes, the source material makes a very critical distinction. And it is a battle between two phrasal verbs that English learners confuse all the time. Wake up and get up.
I hear this mix up constantly. People will say, I got up at 7, when they really mean they just opened their eyes at 7.
Jack and Angela are very firm on this rule. These are two completely different states of existence. They're different worlds. Let's start with wake up.
Let's break it down neurologically. Wake up is the internal event. It is the software of your brain booting up.
Okay, so wake up is my eyes open. My brain switches from dream mode to reality mode. I realize who I am, I realize it is Monday, and I realize I have a meeting.
Right. It is your consciousness returning to your body. But, and this is the crucial part for the vocabulary, where is your physical body?
My body is warm. It is under the duvet. It is horizontal and very comfortable.
Exactly. You have woken up, but you have not done anything physical yet. You are just a conscious being lying in a bed. You are static.
And that brings us to the second verb, get up.
This is the physical victory. Get up implies a change in geometry. You are going from horizontal to vertical. Get up is the exact moment your feet touch the cold floorboards. It is the moment gravity takes over.
Angela admits in the source material that there is a dangerous gap for her here. She says she might wake up at 7 a.m., but she does not get up until 7:20.
That 20-minute gap is the most dangerous time of the day.
It really is, and it is usually filled by an invention that I have a love-hate relationship with, the snooze button.
Ah, the snooze button. Jack calls it the dangerous game.
It is a gamble. You hit that button on your phone, and you are buying yourself exactly 9 minutes of extra sleep.
Why is it always 9 minutes? Have you ever noticed that? It feels like a conspiracy.
I have. It is never 10 minutes. It is always 9. But in those 9 minutes, you drift back off to sleep. And then, beep, 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 you have to undergo the trauma of waking up all over again.
Jack and Angela use this morning struggle to classify 2 types of people. And these are idioms that every English learner needs to know, because they come up in casual small talk constantly. The early bird and the night owl.
Let's look at the early bird first. This describes Jack.
Jack is, well, he is very disciplined.
You were going to say intense, weren't you?
Maybe a little bit. He says he gets up at 5:30 a.m. voluntarily, and he talks about it like it is a good thing. He is up, he is active, he is probably running a marathon before I have even had a cup of coffee.
That is aggressive, but that is the definition, right? An early bird is someone whose natural rhythm makes them energetic in the morning. They like the sunrise.
Yes, and there is a famous English proverb that goes with it. The early bird catches the worm.
Meaning that if you wake up and start your day before everyone else, you get the prize. You get the best opportunities.
Which is great if you like worms. Personally, I identify much more with Angela. She is the classic night owl.
A night owl. This is someone who really comes alive when the sun goes down.
Exactly. For a night owl, the morning is not an opportunity. It is a war. It is a battle to bridge that gap between waking up and getting up. Their brain does not fully function until maybe 10 a.m.
I think a lot of our listeners can relate to that. So let's assume you win the battle. You are an early bird, or you are a highly caffeinated night owl. You have physically gotten up. Your feet are on the floor. Now we run into the first major linguistic engine of the day, the verb get.
This was the most fascinating part of the first section for me. Get. G-E-T. It is such a tiny word, but the source material calls it the engine of morning movement.
Why do they call it an engine? That implies it drives everything forward.
Because it powers almost every change of state in conversational English. If you listen to a native speaker describe their morning, they are not using complex formal verbs. They are just using the word get over and over again. It is everywhere.
Let's give the listeners some clear examples. Let's compare the robot version to the natural native version so they can really hear the difference.
Okay, good idea. A robot might say, I exited my bed, which sounds like you are leaving a commercial building.
Right.
But a native speaker says, I got out of bed.
Okay, another one. Robot. I entered the shower.
Native. I got in the shower.
Robot. I became dressed.
Native. I got dressed.
Robot. I prepared myself for the day.
Native. I got ready.
You see the pattern there. Get implies a change of state. I was in bed. Now I am out. I was naked. Now I am dressed. I was unprepared. Now I am ready. It replaces all those formal words like become, enter, exit, and prepare.
That is a massive shortcut for learners. Stop searching your brain for the fancy word. Stop looking for transform or arrive. Just use get. It is the Swiss Army knife of English verbs.
The Swiss Army knife. I love that. It does a little bit of everything. Okay, so we have gotten up, we have stumbled to the bathroom, now we have to clean ourselves, and this is where we hit a very specific rule about collocations.
Collocations. Let's define that quickly because it sounds like a scary grammar textbook term. Collocation. 2 things located together. These are words that are magnetically attracted to each other in English.
They are best friends. They always hang out together.
They do. And if you separate them, or if you pair them with the wrong word, it sounds weird to a native ear. The hygiene duo in the bathroom is the perfect example of this.
We have 2 main actions in the bathroom here, cleaning our teeth and cleaning our face. But the verbs are not interchangeable at all?
No, they are strictly separated. Rule number 1, we brush our teeth.
We never wash our teeth.
Never. Jack made a joke about this that really stuck with me. He said, saying I wash my teeth sounds like you're taking a garden hose and spraying water into your mouth.
Yeah.
Or using a sponge and dish soap on your incisors.
That is a terrible image. It tastes like soap just thinking about it.
Right. Wash implies soap and water and scrubbing a surface. Brush implies bristles. It implies friction. So we brush teeth.
But on the other hand, we wash our face.
Correct. You do not brush your face.
Ouch. That sounds painful, like using a wire brush on your cheek.
Exactly. So you have this fixed duo. Brush teeth, wash face. You cannot swap them. It is a law of the morning universe.
Now, there was a really good structural point Jack and Angela made here, too. If you are practicing your English and you narrate your morning like this, I wake up, I get up, I brush my teeth, I wash my face.
It sounds like a police report.
Suspect woke up at 0700 hours. Suspect washed face.
It is very choppy, it is robotic, it completely lacks flow. So the source material suggests using what they call bridges.
Bridges, like the Golden Gate Bridge.
Logical bridges. Transition words. Simple things like then, next, or after that.
So let's try that police report again, but with bridges.
I woke up at 7, then I got out of bed. After that, I brushed my teeth. Next, I washed my face.
It is such a small change, but the difference in how fluid it sounds is huge.
It turns a mechanical list into a story. It turns the speech from a series of speed bumps into a smooth river. And for the listener, it is much easier to follow because you are guiding them through time naturally.
Okay, so we are clean, the hygiene duo is complete, we are awake, now the body needs fuel. We are moving to the kitchen for breakfast, which brings us to part 2, fuel and clothing.
And here in the kitchen, we encounter another umbrella verb.
The verb have, H-A-V-E.
This is a nuance that really separates the intermediate learner from the advanced, natural-sounding speaker. Angela points out that she has coffee and she has toast. She does not say she drinks coffee and eats toast.
Why not? I mean, she is drinking the liquid and eating the solid bread. It is biologically accurate.
It is accurate, but eat and drink are very mechanical verbs. They focus your attention on the physical act of consuming calories. Saying, I am eating toast, brings attention to the chewing, to the swallowing.
Which is a bit weird if you were just trying to make polite conversation. Hello, I'm chewing toast now.
Exactly. Have is much softer. It turns the meal into an event, a little ritual. I am having breakfast. I am having a coffee. It focuses on the experience of the meal, not the mechanics of your mouth.
And it works for both liquids and solids, which is why you called it an umbrella verb.
Exactly. It covers everything on the table. You have orange juice, you have eggs, you have a bagel, all into the verb have.
It also sounds much friendlier. If I say to you, let's eat lunch, it sounds almost like a command. We must consume nutrients now.
It sounds like we have exactly 5 minutes to shove food in our faces before a meeting.
Yeah.
But if you say, let's have lunch, it sounds like an invitation. It is social. It implies we are going to sit down and have a conversation.
I also like the specific vocabulary they use to describe a good breakfast. Simple and delicious.
It is a great phrase combination. Simple means it was not a hassle. You did not spend an hour poaching eggs or making a complex sauce. It was easy. And delicious is simply the best adjective for food.
It sounds so much better than just saying it was tasty or good. Delicious has some real flavor to it.
It does. It shows appreciation.
Okay, we have had breakfast. We are fueled up, but we are probably still in our pajamas. We need to cover our bodies before we go outside.
The clothing section. This is an absolute minefield for English learners. I see so many people tripping over the grammar here.
The battle between put on and wear.
I hear this mistake constantly from learners. They will say, I wear my clothes at 7:30 a.m.
Why is that grammatically incorrect?
Because wear is a state of being. It is a continuous condition. I am wearing a shirt right now. You are wearing headphones right now. It is a fact about our current ongoing reality. It is not an action we are performing in the moment. It is static.
But the morning routine is all about action. We are moving. We are changing states.
Correct. The actual physical action of taking the shirt from the hanger and moving it onto your body, that is put on.
So you say, I put on my shirt.
Yes. And because I put it on, I am now wearing it.
Let me repeat that for the listeners because it is so key. Put on is the process. Where is the result?
Precisely. And put on is another one of those super versatile phrasal verbs. It is not just for shirts and pants. You put on clothes. You put on shoes. You put on makeup. You put on jewelry. You put on a watch.
You put it on.
And you can even put on perfume or cologne.
Oh, that is a good one. You don't say you spray perfume.
You can say spray. That is not wrong. But put on is the most common general term. I need to put on some deodorant. I need to put on my glasses.
Okay, so let's visualize this whole sequence. We have woken up mentally, we have gotten up physically, we have brushed our teeth and washed our face, we have had a simple and delicious breakfast, we have put on our clothes.
We're ready.
We are ready for what the source calls the closing bracket of the morning routine, leaving the house.
You cross the threshold, you step out the front door, and you go to work or you go to school.
And just like that, The sanctuary of the home is left behind. Part 1 and 2 are over. We are now entering the public sphere.
Which brings us to part 3, the daily grind.
The daily grind. I love that idiom. It sounds so heavy and industrial.
It is heavy. Think about a giant millstone grinding wheat into flour, or metal gears grinding against each other. A grind implies friction. It implies effort and sweat. It is the machine of work, doing the same difficult thing over and over again every day.
But native speakers use it almost affectionately, don't we? You will hear people say with a smile, back to the grind.
We do. It is a way of bonding over the shared struggle of working for a living. It is solidarity.
So the grind starts with the commute, the journey from your home to your workplace.
And the verbs here depend entirely on the vehicle you are using. This is another area where learners often get their verbs mixed up.
In the source material, Jack says he takes the train.
Right. The rule here is all about control. When we use public transportation systems that we do not personally steer or control, where there is a hired driver or a conductor, we use the verb take. You take the bus. You take the subway. You take a taxi. You take the train. You are a passenger.
But what if you are the one controlling the machine?
Then you drive. You drive your car. You drive to work.
So you would not say, I took my car to work.
You could. People would understand you. But it sounds a bit strange, like you physically picked the car up and carried it with you. Or maybe it sounds like you stole it. Drive is much more specific and natural.
And what if you were lucky enough to live just 2 blocks away from your office?
Then you walk. Or, if you want to sound a little bit more formal or descriptive, you say you go on foot.
Go on.
Yes. But notice we rarely say I walk to work in a quick professional update. Walk is perfectly fine, but the key conversational distinction people care about is usually between taking public transport and driving yourself, because that affects traffic and delays.
Okay, so you survive the commute, you navigate the highway traffic or the crowded subway car, you arrive at the office building. What is the first vocabulary of the workplace?
Well, officially, if you are an hourly worker, you might clock in or sign in.
Clock in, that sounds very old-fashioned, like a factory from the 1920s.
It comes from the old days of punching a physical paper time card into a heavy clock machine. Cat junk. But we still use the phrase today to mean I am officially starting my paid work hours.
But let's be honest about office culture. You do not just clock in, sit down, and immediately become a typing robot.
No. If you did that, your coworkers would think you were incredibly rude.
This is a cultural point the source material highlights beautifully. Before you work, you need social lubricant.
Social lubricant.
That sounds a bit slippery.
It is a metaphor. Think about an engine again. If you have an engine with fast-moving metal parts, you need oil so the parts do not grind together and break. In an office environment, the human beings are the moving parts. If you just demand serious work immediately at 8 a.m., it creates social friction.
So small talk is the oil.
Exactly. Asking questions like, how was your weekend? Or how is your day going? Or did you see the football game last night? These are not just time-wasting questions. They are vital social rituals used to break the ice.
Break the ice, another very cold metaphor.
It means to shatter the tension or the awkward silence. Imagine a completely frozen lake. You have to break the ice so the water underneath can flow. You break the silence so the communication can flow. You have to do this before you get down to work.
Get down to work, that is a great phrasal verb.
Notice the imagery there. It implies a downward-focused motion, like settling deeply into your office chair, focusing your eyes on the screen, leaning forward. Okay, small talk is over. Let's get down to work.
It signals a shift in tone. Playtime is over, serious time begins.
Exactly. So you work hard for a few hours, you answer 20 emails, you sit through a long meeting, and then the best time of the day arrives. Lunchtime.
The midday refueling.
The source material contrasts 2 main strategies for lunch. Packing a lunch versus eating out.
Packing a lunch implies preparation at home.
Right. You made it in your own kitchen. Maybe it is leftovers from whatever you cooked for dinner last night. Maybe it is a simple sandwich. You put it in the plastic container and bring it with you. It is usually the healthy, money-saving option.
Versus eating out, which is leaving the office to go to a restaurant or a food truck. But I really liked the very casual phrase they introduced for this. Grab a bite.
Let's grab a bite. It is so common in American and British offices.
Why grab? Isn't grabbing a very fast, almost aggressive physical action?
In this context, it implies speed and casualness. We are not going for a 5-course French meal with white tablecloths and candles. We're going to grab something quickly, a sandwich, a quick salad, and eat it fast so we can get back to our desks.
It is very low pressure. Asking a coworker, hey, do you want to grab a bite, is a very safe, friendly invitation.
Exactly. It does not sound like a formal business meeting or a romantic date. It sounds purely functional and friendly.
And where do you go to grab this bite? Maybe a local cafe? Or if you work in a massive corporate building, you might go to the canteen.
The source was very specific about the pronunciation of that word. Did you catch the stress?
I did. They said canteen. The stress is heavy on the second syllable.
Yes, canteen. A canteen is a cafeteria, usually located inside a school or a large company building. It is not a public restaurant. It is just for the workers or students. It is usually cheaper, usually faster, and usually, well, the food quality can vary wildly.
That is a very polite way to put it. So, lunch is over, you return to your desk, your stomach is full, and then 2:30 p.m. hits.
The dreaded afternoon slump.
I feel this slump in my soul every single day without fail.
We all do. It is basic biology. Your blood sugar shifts after eating, your natural circadian rhythm dips, and your energy completely crashes. You feel like a smartphone battery that is blinking red at 5%. You stare at your computer screen and the words just stop making sense.
So what is the linguistic solution to the slump? How do native speakers talk about this feeling?
Well, usually you narrate your coping mechanism to your coworkers. You sigh and say, I need to grab another coffee, or I need to take a quick stretch. You are openly acknowledging the low energy and announcing how you are trying to fix it.
And even though you are incredibly tired during the slump, you are probably still very busy. The boss does not care that your battery is at 5%.
Oh, absolutely not. But notice how native speakers express the concept of being busy. We rarely just say, I am very busy. It is a bit dull. It lacks emotion.
We use disaster metaphors. We love a good disaster in English.
We really do. We say, I am swamped.
Like a swamp, like the Florida Everglades. Like you are stuck in thick mud and dark water up to your waist and you cannot move.
Exactly. If a coworker asks for help, you say, I can't help you right now. I'm swamped. It implies the workload is physically holding you down.
Or we say, I am buried in work.
Like there was an avalanche of paper that fell on top of you. You're trapped underground. I'm buried. It paints a very vivid, stressful picture of being overwhelmed.
So you fight through the afternoon slump. You dig yourself out of the swamp. You climb out from being buried under the avalanche of emails. And finally, it is 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. It is time to end the workday.
We have two great phrasal verbs for this moment. First, wrap things up.
Like wrapping a birthday present.
Exactly like that. Think about the physical action of wrapping a gift. You are tidying up the loose ends. You're putting a bow on it.
Yeah.
At work, you are saving the digital files, closing the browser tabs, putting your pens away. You are neatly packaging your work so you can leave it behind on the desk.
It is a very satisfying feeling to say, okay, let's wrap this up.
And then, once the work is wrapped,
Then you head out.
I'm heading out.
I'm heading home.
It is just so much cooler and more natural than saying, I'm leaving the building now. Head acts as a verb of motion here. It implies setting a direction. I'm heading out. It sounds proactive.
And Jack mentions a really good productivity habit here, making a to-do list for tomorrow before heading out.
Which is incredibly smart. It helps you leave the work at work. You dump your brain's worries onto the paper so you do not carry that stress home with you.
Which brings us perfectly to the next transition. We are leaving the grind. We are entering the sanctuary of home. Part 4, the evening unwind.
This part of the day is fascinating because the vocabulary completely reverses itself. It is like playing the morning tape backward.
It really is. In the morning, we left the house. Now we are getting back or arriving home.
And there is a physical signal that marks this major transition, walking through the front door.
Angela describes it beautifully as a literal sigh of relief. That whoosh sound of the breath leaving your body. The armor of the professional world comes off.
And then comes the immediate clothing swap. This is crucial for the psychology of the evening routine.
In the morning, we put on our clothes. Now we must take off our clothes. Take off is the exact opposite phrasal verb.
But we do not just stay naked in the living room. That would be freezing. We'd change into something else.
We change into loungewear, or as Jack brilliantly calls them, lazy clothes.
I absolutely love that term, lazy clothes. It perfectly describes gray sweatpants, an old oversized t-shirt, soft pajamas, the clothes that judge no one.
This is not just about physical cotton comfort, is it? It is deeper than that.
No, it is a psychological signal. It tells your brain, work you is finished for the day. Home you has finally arrived. The soldier has taken off the uniform. It is the beginning of the unwind.
Unwinding, that is another great visual image.
Think of a vintage clockwork toy. or a metal spring that has been wound up tight all day long by stress. The tension is incredibly high. In the evening, you let that spring loose. You unwind. You relax your muscles. You expand.
And how do we fuel this unwinding process? With dinner.
We have two main vocabulary options here depending on your energy levels. If you have some energy left, you might whip up dinner.
Whip up, spelled W-H-I-P, like a leather whip.
Yes. It suggests speed and ease. You are not slow roasting a duck for 6 hours. You are whipping up some quick pasta. You are throwing a salad together. It implies you're cooking it very quickly, almost like a magic trick.
I'll just whip up an omelet.
Exactly. It sounds totally effortless.
But what if you have zero energy? What if the swamp at work completely destroyed you?
Then you order in, or you take out.
Order in, meaning you call the restaurant on your phone and the food magically travels to your door.
Exactly. The food comes to you. Maximum laziness. Maximum comfort.
And while you are eating that delicious takeout on the sofa, what are you usually doing?
Well, in the modern world, you are highly likely to be binge-watching.
This is a relatively new vocabulary word in the grand scheme of English, isn't it?
It is. It really comes from the era of Netflix and streaming services. To binge means to consume a massive amount of something in a very short time. We used to only use it for negative things like binge eating junk food or binge drinking alcohol. Now we binge watch television.
It is a marathon for your eyes, watching 3, 4, or 5 episodes of a drama in a single row without moving.
Angela pleads completely guilty to this habit. She says she can lose hours staring at the screen. But she warns us, if you binge watch too late into the night, you do not just get tired, you get exhausted.
Let's clarify that for the listener. Exhausted is much more severe than tired.
Tired means I could use a quick nap. Exhausted means my battery is completely dead. I am drained. I am entirely empty of energy.
And that profound exhaustion leads us directly to the final ritual of the day. Part 5, the bedtime ritual.
The day is closing. The lights are dim.
Now, what are the modern vocabulary habits here?
Well, unfortunately for many of us, the ritual involves scrolling.
Scrolling through social media.
The endless motion of the thumb pushing the glass screen up, up. It is hypnotic. And if the news you're reading is negative, we call it doom scrolling.
Doom scrolling. Just looking at disaster after global disaster while lying horizontally in the dark in bed. Probably not recommended for good mental health or good sleep.
Definitely not recommended. It spikes your anxiety right at the exact moment you need to calm down. But eventually, you have to force yourself to put the phone away on the nightstand. You set the alarm, hoping desperately to avoid the dangerous snooze button we talked about in hour 1.
And then you use one of my favorite English idioms of all time, hit the hay.
Or hit the sack.
Where does that even come from? Why are we hitting hay? Why a sack?
It is a very old agricultural idiom. Before mattresses were made of expensive memory foam and metal springs, they were literally just cloth sacks stuffed with dry straw or hay from the farm.
That sounds incredibly scratchy and uncomfortable.
It probably was terrible. It was lumpy and full of bugs. But literally, when you went to bed, your tired body hit the hay.
I love that we still say that every night, even though I have never slept on a pile of hay in my entire life.
Language preserves history like that. It keeps the old rural world alive right in our modern mouths. So you hit the hay. And finally, the very last verb of the day. You fall asleep.
Notice the specific preposition there, listeners. You do not do sleep. You fall asleep.
It is a passive action. It's something that overcomes you. You lose your conscious control. You let go of the day. You fall down into the state of sleep.
And the ultimate goal, according to the source material, is to sleep like a log.
Another great nature idiom. A log is a heavy, chopped piece of wood. It does not move. It does not make a sound. If you sleep like a log, you are in a deep, heavy, completely restful state of sleep.
And what is the opposite of sleeping like a log?
Tossing and turning. Moving your arms and legs around, fighting with the heavy blankets, completely unable to get comfortable. Jack admits he is a chronic toss and turner.
Poor Jack. Hopefully he learns to sleep like a log eventually. Maybe he needs to stop drinking so much coffee at 5 p.m.
That would definitely help him out.
So we have done it. We have tracked the entire human experience from the very first wake up to the final fall asleep.
It is quite a linguistic journey when you break it down word by tiny word like this. It makes you realize just how much complex language is embedded in these tiny, seemingly invisible actions.
It really does. And the source material ends with a fantastic practical challenge from Angela. She calls it the Narrate Your Life Challenge.
This is brilliant advice for any language learner. I would recommend this to absolutely everyone listening. The core idea is to become the invisible narrator of your own movie.
How exactly does the listener do it?
As you are physically doing these boring daily routines tomorrow, say the English sentence in your head, or even say it out loud if you are alone in your apartment.
So, when you are reaching for the tube of toothpaste in the morning, literally think to yourself, I am brushing my teeth.
When you walk to the subway station, think, I am taking the train. When you sit at your office desk, think, I am clocking in. When you feel tired at night, think, I am hitting the hay.
Why does this psychological trick work so well? Why is it better than just reading a grammar textbook?
Because it bridges the gap between the abstract vocabulary word and your physical reality. It connects the neuron in your brain for the word brush with the actual physical muscle movement of your arm brushing. It cements the vocabulary directly into your lived life, not just your short-term memory.
It makes the English yours. It anchors it completely in your daily reality.
Exactly. And once you can describe your own day fluently, once you truly own these simple autopilot routines, you gain a massive amount of conversational confidence. Because almost every real-world conversation starts with the familiar. How are you? What did you do today? If you can answer those basic questions effortlessly and naturally, you are ready to tackle the bigger, more complex topics.
That is a brilliant point, and it leaves me with a final thought for you, the listener, to mull over. We talked about how having robotic vocabulary changes how people perceive you, but I wonder how the words we choose change how we perceive our own lives. If you tell yourself every day that you are swamped and buried in the daily grind, do you feel more stressed than if you just say you're having a busy day? The words you use to narrate your autopilot life might just be programming your mood.
That is a deep thought to end on. Language shapes reality.
It certainly does. Well, we have gone all the way from the dangerous snooze button to hitting the hay.
We covered the whole map.
To our listeners, try the challenge tomorrow. Narrate your day. Do not be a robot. Be a fluid, natural human. Be an early bird or a night owl, but do it all in English.
And tonight, try to get some good rest. Sleep like a log.
Thanks for diving deep with us today into the hidden vocabulary of daily life. We will see you on the next deep dive.
Goodbye, everyone.